Testing levels.
Testing levels.
Testing levels.
Levels. Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre. Hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond. Sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us online at terrorintandem.com and on Instagram at terrorintandem.
Hey there.
Hey, good morning.
It's me.
Or afternoon, or evening.
It feels like morning.
Or twilight, or
the gloaming.
gloaming.
Nice.
Yes. Good gloaming to you.
Love to be in that gloaming.
So it's one of those days, you know?
Yeah. Well, welcome to our second installment of our monthly recommendations episode for, this one is for June 2022.
Yeah. This is a June recommendation episode.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about June.
Oh my God. Are we going to do this every month?
Yeah.
June
is the 6th month of the year.
It is. Can't be denied. On the Julian calendar, is it?
Yes. In California, this month is typically like really overcast every day, and they call it June gloom.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Huh.
You lived there for 6 years.
Yeah, I'm just kind of in my own head most of the time.
Yeah, you don't pay much attention. Except to every detail of every movie you've ever seen. Which is why we started this podcast.
Yes.
To give Richard an opportunity to talk about his movie knowledge to someone other than just me.
And indulge my rampant narcissism.
I mean, that's weird though, because you are just talking to me.
I mean, I like to pretend that it's just you.
It is just me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hope other people listen.
Sure.
Anyway.
I'm sure they are. And loving it.
Do you want to, go first? Or
I mean, wow.
I'm just excited.
Thought I had more facts and figures about June.
I just really want to get into it, I guess.
I know. I guess you're so excited. No, actually, if you're so excited, why don't you go first?
All right.
June.
June. So I'm going to start with
what we're looking forward to. So if you're just joining us, this is an episode that we do every month.
Yes.
To tell you what we're looking forward to in the month, ahead. That either we're right in or right up against.
And it's our personal opinion. We don't have any
no, it's
investment
what we're
in
excited about.
Yeah, it's just what we're personally looking forward to, and maybe
and
you will
should too.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with the big one. Coming out in June 24th in theaters by Universal Pictures, The Black Phone, directed by Scott Derrickson. Yes. Hello.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Is this Black Phone?
It is.
So it's like the evil version of Batman's phone. No, The Black Phone. It's based on a short story by Joe Hill, who is an excellent writer and the son of Stephen King.
Yes.
Even really looks like him.
Oh gosh,
he's got he looks like 70s Stephen King with the beard. But
they're all writers.
That whole family. Owen,
the wife,
Tabitha.
Yeah.
They're all excellent writers. But Joe Hill has really exploded onto the scene over the last 10 years, and he's fantastic. I mean, he seems to be just as prolific as his father, and has the same talent of localizing big stories. He can tell a grand tale but make it feel intimate, and also just scare the shit out of you. He's really good at that. So anyway, The Black Phone, coming out June 24th. It's directed by Scott Derrickson, who probably most familiar to people for directing the first Doctor Strange movie, but he's also done Sinister, which I would consider kind of a modern classic, Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I also really, really enjoyed, and one of the few Hellraiser sequels that's not terrible, Hellraiser Inferno. but to be honest with you, I can't really tell you which one that one is. I know it's one of them, and it was better than the others, but yeah. So anyway, The Black Phone, I'll read the synopsis.
Can we just take one moment? Are you going to talk about who's in?
I'm going to talk about all sorts of stuff.
Because I was going to jump the gun there for a second.
No, you know what? Gun jumped.
Ethan Hawke stars in this movie.
I love Ethan Hawke.
This was a little bit of I'm not going to say a fight for who was going to recommend this, but we both have it on our list.
Oh, no, we're both, if you could see us, we're both just bloodied and scarred.
Oh, wow.
From the fierce melee.
Please don't tell people
it's all emotional.
laundry. Yeah, I know. Right.
Yeah. We have psychic battles.
Yeah.
Like in Scanners.
Yeah. That's even worse. No, Ethan Hawke of recent Moon Knight fame.
Yeah.
So if you're into Moon Knight, if you're not, you should be.
You should be.
And also, he's played in other horror movies before, and I've always really liked
the
him.
aforementioned Sinister.
Yes, Sinister.
The Purge.
I don't really like those very
it was
much.
okay, but he was in the first one.
Yeah. And then, Training Day, which I thought he was really amazing in.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give a little, preface and shout out to him. And
100%.
Also, Joe Hill wrote the Lock and Key series, which is incredible and not really, I would say it's got a touch of fright, but it's more magical.
Well, you're talking
mystical.
about the Netflix show, right?
No, he wrote the series.
No, I know that, but because I read the comics, but I haven't seen the show, and I can tell you the comics are very dark. They're straight up horror for sure.
They are.
I think they maybe toned that down a little bit for the
okay.
Netflix show, made it a bit more like family adventure style.
Yeah, I guess comic books, the visual aspect can be pretty frightening.
Lock and Key is no joke. I mean, it's fantastic. If you get a chance to read it, do so.
Well, they definitely toned it down then for the show, but just wanted to give a shout out to Lock and Key.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. So
Black Phone.
So the synopsis of the film is Finney Shaw is a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who's being held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic masked killer, played by Ethan Hawke. When a disconnected phone on the wall starts to ring, he soon discovers that he can hear the voices of the murderer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney. Nice. So Ethan Hawke plays a villain called the Grabber in this, and he snatches kids off the street in a creepy van, which I think plays on a pretty common fear of suburban life. You see a certain kind of van, and the first thing I think of is, oh, it's Buffalo Bill. Someone's that's a kidnapper van. But the buzz on this is Ethan Hawke is just incredible, really scary. The mask that he's wearing in the film is a great design. It just looks awesome. It's another Scott Derrickson collaboration with his longtime writer, C. Robert Cargill. They've just done great work together. I am super excited about it. Joe Hill, C. Robert Cargill, Scott Derrickson, Ethan Hawke, all together on a horror project. It's hard to see this one missing the mark. So,
does it take place like in present day?
No, it
seems like it's a little bit like...
I think it takes place in the 80s.
Yeah, like the white van, black van, watch out.
Yeah, analog phone on the wall.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. The aesthetic of the movie. I mean, Joe Hill, a lot like his dad, he's really good at writing from that era, and also the fears of young protagonists. He's very good at writing young characters that are not condescending. I think a lot of adults have difficulty writing young characters, kind of forgetting what it's like to be young after there's some distance there. But Joe Hill really taps into youthful fears. And it just looks great. I can't see it being a miss.
Did you say it's Blumhouse?
No, it's Universal Pictures. So, the OG horror masters. It's a Blumhouse. Well, it's being distributed by Universal. It might be a Blumhouse production.
It is a Blumhouse, which
Blumhouse
is pretty much a green light for me.
Yeah, they are. Jason Blum has really, not just through his own films, but I really appreciate how much talent he's advanced and brought to the spotlight. He's really pushing the genre forward and a little bit more into the mainstream, which you can have mixed feelings about, but it does mean more movies and bigger budgets.
When is that coming out?
June 24th, The Black Phone. Why don't you want to go next?
Yeah.
All right.
Obviously.
I mean, unless our unnamed third co-host wants... No?
No.
No, they're shaking their head. Okay.
She's licking her privates right now. It's our cat.
Yeah, I feel like that should be specified after you say that. It is a cat.
So my first recommendation is also a film.
Nice.
It's called Watcher.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's a film directed by Chloe Akuno. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Apologies if we're not.
It's her first feature film. Really digging the fact that she seems to be moving in a direction of being a horror film director, which we don't have enough female horror film directors out there.
We don't have enough female directors, period, but there is just... you're absolutely right. There's a dearth of horror female directors.
She was the director and screenwriter for VHS 94, which was like an anthology, and she directed a segment called The Storm Drain in that. I didn't see it.
I'm a fan of the VHS series. The second one especially is amazing.
It's going to be limited release in theaters on June 3rd. It premiered at Sundance.
Oh.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
You know, again, when horror movies show at Sundance or any festival of, you know, a higher echelon, I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah,
so.
it's like you know, a punk showing up to a fancy party. You love to see it. A horror movie gets into a fancy festival and just fucks shit up.
So she's slated to direct the horror film adaptation of Rodney Acela. He was a serial killer who won a date on the TV game show, The Dating Game.
Yikes.
Do you remember hearing this story?
No.
It happened several decades ago, I believe.
Was that Chuck Willery?
No, that was Love Connection.
Oh God, he's awful.
So this guy, Rodney, apparently went on the show while he was murdering people and won a date.
Ugh.
And so she's going to do a film adaptation.
Holy
so
shit. Well,
keep an eye on her.
Can I ask, is it a spoiler to ask how'd that date go?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Tune in. So Watcher. So Watcher's about a young actress played by Micah Monroe, who is from It Follows, which we've mentioned on previous episode. She moves to Bucharest with her boyfriend, who's played by Carl Glusman. He's previously Mr. Zoe Kravitz. He's also an actor, though. But
the previous Mr. Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Is that he has other credits, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Other movies he's been in. She, the actress, the character, she begins to notice a stranger who's watching from the apartment across the street. In addition, there's a serial killer stalking the streets. So she immediately makes the connection that this guy is watching her and he's probably the serial killer.
Like every time she goes to her window, he's there looking.
Yeah.
It's really unsettling.
And she's currently not working or planning to, and she has a lot of idle time, so that seems to be like a perfect recipe for letting her mind wander. So some of the themes that I'm drawn to in this particular movie is that, you know, it's part of like the stalker genre. It seems to have a lot of gaslighting, you know, doubt, you know, is she an unreliable narrator? We see it from her point of view. So as the story unfolds, we are watching it unfold. Like, we don't know things that she doesn't know, which I sort of love. It's a whodunit. There's a lot of tension building. It has like that 1970s nostalgia Rear Window vibe.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And she's got the double disadvantage of being a foreigner and a woman honestly, when it comes to people believing her story.
Yeah, and I think that the backdrop of filming in Bucharest, I think they filmed it during COVID lockdown. So,
Okay.
Nobody out on the streets. There's really a sense of dread. There's a lot of tension building. There's like an ambiguous reveal of what is actually happening. So again, we're in the dark. And it seems to be a tight economic horror film with minimal locations. So it's like a couple apartments, a couple streets, and then that's pretty much it.
Oh, fantastic.
And I love that.
I mean, Micah Monroe is so talented. This really does look like a showcase for her. Like she seems to be in a majority of the scenes in this movie, at least based on the trailer, which I definitely recommend watching. It's really good.
This is also being put out by Shudder, so my guess is that it'll be on Shudder soon.
Yes.
But again, limited release June 3rd.
And look, we're not like sponsored by Shudder or anything, but
Shudder we'll totally take it.
Is
I
dope.
mean, Shudder, hello.
So good. It's
Terror and Tandem and Shudder.
Subscribe to Shudder. Just whatever, just do it.
Subscribe to Terror and Tandem.
Yeah, for sure. We're free, so why not? Is it me? Oh, okay. So, for my second, it has been brought to my attention by a co-host that I won't name it this time. That all of my recommendations and discussion so far have been movies. So I'm going to recommend a book, if only to prove to you that I can read.
He does read.
I do.
I've watched him.
I'm capable of it.
I've watched him for hours reading.
And I've asked you to stop doing that. It does make it a little uncomfortable. I recorded it once. When you play it back quickly, she does that sort of like twitchy move, like Paranormal Activity.
The best part is though when he's reading and he like nods or reacts, I'm like, I put my hand to my chest and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a strange dynamic. So.
A book.
The book I'm recommending is it's coming out in June. It is called Aurora, and it's by an author named David Koepp. And David Koepp is probably more well known as a screenwriter, at least to me. He's a really prolific and solid screenwriter. He's written everything from the 2002 Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, Jurassic Park, Carlito's Way, Mission Impossible.
Wow.
But horror fans might know him from his adaptation of the Richard Matheson short story, Stir of Echoes.
Is that?
It is not me.
Oh.
No. Listen, my name is Richard Matthiasson. People have asked me that in the past, and my response has been, well, we do spell and pronounce our last names differently, but yes.
Yeah, we'll cash those checks, though.
Yes. I am the deceased Richard Matheson.
That's the smell.
But Richard Matheson is an all-time classic. Wrote What Dreams May Come, wrote The Incredible Shrinking Man, and just tons of great stuff. And Stir of Echoes. So anyway, David Koepp.
He's been around for a long time, man.
Who, Richard Matheson?
No, David Koepp.
Oh, David Koepp's been in the game for about 30 years, I'd say. Yeah. He wrote Jurassic Park. I think I said that. He also wrote Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But that's okay.
That's
we
fine.
are all about
So, anyway, this book.
trial and error.
The basic premise of it is a solar storm knocks out all electricity on planet Earth. So, a globalized society becomes a group of local communities basically unable to communicate with each other like olden times in the blink of an eye. So it centers around two characters who are estranged siblings. The sister is a single mom whose husband is in jail or something like that. Her brother, is a tech bro from Silicon Valley. So they have a lot of differences, and the basic idea behind this is it's sort of a grand epic story with the backdrop of what happens to modern society when it doesn't have electricity anymore.
Or like when your skill set is one of technology
Exactly.
and being able to do, wonderful things with the internet and being online and then having that all taken away. I'm sure it's really disabling for,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
you know,
So it's
somebody like that.
it's that grand story in the background, but a small, intimate family conflict at its core. Between the siblings, between the mother and her son, the mother and her ex-husband. So it kind of reminded me a lot of the classic Twilight Zone episode, "The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street." Do you remember that one? It was.
I don't.
Okay, so it
I
was.
like the title though.
Oh, it's so good. It's Maple Street. It's like 1950s suburban Americana. You know, it's the Norman Rockwell type, and everyone gets along, and everyone is a decent person, and blah blah blah. Suddenly, there's a bright flash of light, and all of the electricity on the block goes out. And the electricity goes out, as far as they can tell, everywhere. Now, the people pretty quickly start turning on each other. Rod Serling really shows his opinion of attitudes during the height of the Cold War, as these people, they start coming up with conspiracy theories about each other, blame each other. There's an accidental murder that is just someone being terrified and having a gun. And boy, can you imagine something like that happening today? Conspiracy theories? Too many people with guns? Crazy. Anyway, so the book is Aurora. The author is David Koepp. That's Koepp, if you're looking it up. But it is pronounced Koepp. I did look that up. And I'm really looking forward to it.
When does it come out?
In June. I don't know if they've set a solid release
June
date
22.
yet. June something. You know, it comes out in a look it up yourself. But I'm excited because David Koepp has just been a rock solid writer for a long time. And it seems like a really fun summer read.
It's sort of how I felt about Noah Hawley. You know, he was like really writing screenplays and things like that. And then he started like cranking out some novels, and they are good.
Yeah, leave some talent for the rest of us, you guys. My God.
Not surprisingly, my second recommendation is a book.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Judgment.
No, I read all the time.
You do.
So this book is called House Across the Lake. It's a new book by Riley Sager. Mm-hmm. I've read many of hers.
I've seen that name in stacks beside the bed.
And also on my finish shelves.
And sticking out of the ceiling and basically jammed into wherever we can fit them.
She's got a solid showing of the genre. So it's, you know, this really quick thriller, you know, typically a female protagonist.
Okay.
Of note, she's written Home Before Dark, which was unreliable narrator ghost story. So good.
Oh, that sounds great.
Final Girls, which we are going to talk about Final Girls and who they are and what that means.
Or like the concept of the trope of a final girl.
At some point. Yeah. But that's a great one. And then most recently, Survive the Night, which, you know.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, this girl hitchhikes and gets into a car and quickly learns that the guy driving is this killer that everybody's looking for.
That's what happens when you don't get picked up by Tom Adkins.
Right. Oh yeah, right.
From The Fog.
Yeah, The Fog. Yeah. So Riley Sager. So the novel is about Casey, a recently widowed actress. Interestingly, that this is also an actress. Trying to outrun some bad press, she's decided to retreat to her family's lake house in Vermont, so remote. She begins drinking and watching the couple across the lake with binoculars.
Oh.
She ends up saving the wife from drowning, and they become fast friends. And then all her dirty marital secrets begin to be told to Casey.
Ooh.
Shortly after the wife disappears. So,
shortly after the secrets are revealed?
Yeah, shortly after the
okay,
friendship and the wife starts telling Casey all of her marital dirty secrets.
She disappears. That's...
So it's a psychological suspense, an escapist thriller. I probably will read it in a day, you know, depending on how much time you have to
I
read. It's
love
a
books
quick,
like that.
Yeah, it's a quick read.
I really do.
Perfect for summer. And again, it's got that voyeur Hitchcock whodunit vibe.
Just a book that you can devour and just slams
yeah,
you.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes out June 21st.
Nice.
So
I might actually read that one. That sounds pretty good.
House Across the Lake.
Yeah. Just as an aside, it reminds me a little bit of a movie I recently watched, The Night House, starring Rebecca Hall. Listen, watch The Night House. It's on HBO Max. Watch it. It is unbelievable. It's phenomenal. Easy contender for movie of the year, for sure. It's a little late, but why don't we take a pause here for a break?
Okay.
You know, make all the Bitcoin and Dogecoin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I have buy a couple
we've
NFTs.
decided that now is just the perfect time to get into crypto.
So I need to buy a couple NFTs.
Seems like it's doing really well, and it's rock solid.
It's going in a direction.
Yeah.
We'll
By the way,
back.
this whole thing is an NFT. So
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Picture this. It's a cold, rainy night. Your mom is sitting next to you at your bedside. You're feverish, tossing and turning, and just not quite feeling yourself. What's the one thing you know will make you feel better? Reagan's home-style pea soup. A recipe as old as time that's been unearthed and packaged for your own kitchen or cauldron. Blended to perfection, this easily digestible and regurgitatable soup will help you keep those demons at bay. With just a single serving, you will be satisfied and sanctified. With Reagan's home-style pea soup, you can be free from the pressures of the divine and stop filtering your true beliefs. Just let it all go. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. We do not condone nor endorse possession or exorcism. Hello.
All right, we're back. So,
this is your last one.
I'm hoping that you have bought whatever that was and entered your blockchain something. You know what? I don't understand it. I just don't. I'm going to stop trying to make jokes about it because I barely know what crypto is.
Yeah, it's fine. Move on to your final recommendation so then
right.
I can get
This
to my
one,
final recommendation.
I'm crazy excited about this, but I'm also very intimidated by it. It is Crimes of the Future, directed by the legendary...
Is it a TV show?
It's a movie. It's a movie. I'm sorry. You're right. I keep forgetting. You guys aren't in my head. Not yet, anyway.
Don't. It's scary.
It's mostly just messy. It's a movie, Crimes of the Future, and it is director David Cronenberg, the man himself. Yes, but even better, this is his return to the genre that I think not only defined him, but that he defined, body horror. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with that term, body horror is a very specific kind of horror that it's very hard to watch.
So I'm just going to interject here. You don't have to like all genres of horror. I do not like body horror.
No, she does not.
I am going to go to my happy place while Richard talks about David Cronenberg. And I'll be here, holding your hand. Don't worry.
That is for the best.
If you don't like body horror, it's fine. You could still like things that scare you.
All right. I'm not going to get like too into it, but trigger warning for the next minute or two. It's gross. So body horror it's a little self-explanatory, but it deals with the horrors of your actual physical body. So a lot of the way David Cronenberg has manifested that in the past is like augmentation, surgery. So he directed the movie Crash from 1996. Don't confuse it with the one that won the Oscar in the 2000s. This one is a very, very different movie.
James
Spader, Rosanna Arquette. Essentially about people who intentionally crash cars and fuck. Yeah, it's an adaptation of the J.G. Ballard novel, which is also fantastic. But it's a tough watch. Yeah. So David Cronenberg is famous for body horror. And he really, really kind of pioneered this genre. So much so that the name Cronenberg has become like an adjective for that kind of horror. Rick and Morty had a whole joke about it. So in Crimes of the Future, it's starring Cronenberg's frequent collaborator, Viggo Mortensen, who has done a few movies with Cronenberg, but never a horror movie. He was in A History of Violence,
Which
Eastern
is
Promises,
amazing,
both of those
but
incredible.
very hard to watch.
Yeah, incredibly violent and difficult, but not body horror. So actually,
like Human Centipede is body horror.
Yeah, but don't compare
I know,
that.
I'm
That's
just saying.
exploitative trash. David
No,
Cronenberg
we don't
actually has
poop
a thing to
on
say.
movies.
Well, I think it's okay. The Human Centipede is quite aware of what it is. So,
Human Centipede.
oh God. Anyway, cuttlefish and asparagus. So Cronenberg's last real horror film was 1999's Existenz, which starred a young Jude Law, Jennifer Jason Leigh. It was really, really cool. But Crimes of the Future, it's got Viggo Mortensen as a performance artist living in this near future where humans are undergoing a sort of physical evolution, and that's not very well defined in the preview, which is great. I don't want to know, but he plays a performance artist whose shtick, so to speak, is growing these organs inside of himself and on his body. So he's growing, like extra lungs and eyeballs and ears and things like that.
I wish you could see my face right now because
my esteemed co-host, if you hear a thud, it's just her passing out, and I promise I'll turn her head to the left or something. So anyway, he plays this performance artist. His partner is played by Léa Seydoux, who you probably know from the recent James Bond movies, and Kristen Stewart plays this representative of a group that kind of wants to use Viggo Mortensen to advance their agenda of promoting this new phase of human evolution, which again, no one's really sure what that is yet. So yeah, look, the Red Band trailer especially is nasty. It's very tough to watch. It's squirmy and gooey and gross. It really has, for any of you that have seen Videodrome, it has a real throwback to that in my mind. There's even a line in it where Kristen Stewart's character says surgery is the new sex, which really reminded me of Videodrome's All Hail the New Flesh. So it's another Cronenberg exploration of humanity's struggling sense of identity and our future and what that is and what that means, and taking it to an extreme that 10 years ago I would have said was unrealistic, but God, who knows, man? Who fucking knows anymore? So I'm just really excited about this. David Cronenberg himself has said he fully expects people to walk out of this film, and he's fine with that. He is a director that has always pushed the boundaries, and I'm scared to watch this one, not gonna lie. It really does look nasty, but it's gooey Cronenberg, and there's nothing like it. So Crimes of the Future. Check it out if you dare.
It sounds like you will be walking in solo.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be one I'm watching on my own, and I accept that.
When does that come out?
Bring a barf bag. That comes out in June.
So that I can leave town. And I don't even want to hear about it.
I don't have an exact release date for that, and I do apologize. But it does come out in June. I'll do better for the July ones. But gooey, goopy Cronenberg.
Yum. So, again, here's a new surprise. You surprised the audience today.
I did.
I'm going to surprise the audience today.
Okay.
With my final recommendation. It's a video game.
Get
What?
Wait, from a girl?
So let me just explain for the listeners. I don't generally play video games. I could probably count on my, right hand how many video games I've actually played through.
Well, listen, to be fair, you are a body horror performance artist. So your right hand has like
I'm very busy.
It has like 50
sewing
fingers on it. Yeah.
somebody else's ear onto my face.
Constantly growing new fingers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm putting like, lug nuts under my arm.
It's
flesh.
like a spiky ball dog toy, but fingers.
Machinarium is one that I loved.
Oh yeah, the point and click.
I love that cooking game that we played during the early part of the pandemic. It was like
Dash.
a collaborative.
I think it's called Cooking Dash.
Yeah, it was
something.
Overcooked.
Overcooked.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
That game is pretty great.
And then, that's, I don't really play.
You are a
video
Galaga
games.
master.
I used to play Tomb Raider and Wii games and things like that, but honestly I haven't really attached to anything that I was as into until one of the video games that I'm going to touch on.
She's not exploring the lands between with my tarnished.
So The Quarry, new video game, it's 80s theme. So again, if this company created a video game just for me.
Supermassive Games.
Just for me. Yeah, I was going to get to that.
I know. I just like to jump in.
So, 80s themed, out June 10th. This is going to come out like any minute. It can be played on PlayStation 4 and 5, Windows PC.
If you can find a PlayStation 5.
And Xbox. Created by Supermassive Games, which also created Until Dawn. So Until Dawn was what sparked my real resurgence of I need to play video games. I sat down and started Until Dawn and did not stop until I completed it. And so it's the same type of cinematic experience that The Quarry is, which is what I'm recommending. So
yeah, my PlayStation texted me that day. It was like, "Hey,
I'm so tired.
Are you coming back?"
Yeah. So The Quarry has a multiplayer option. You can adjust the difficulty. You can switch to movie mode and essentially just watch it as a horror movie.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it uses facial capture, cinematic lighting, and a cast of young actors. So it's essentially you are playing a horror movie.
It's like the modern version of Choose Your Own Adventure.
Right. So the story takes place at a summer camp called Hackett's Quarry.
Jesus Christ.
Which is in upstate New York.
That does not sound... Don't camp at Hackett's.
Hackett's Quarry.
Yeah.
Which is in
Just
upstate
go next
New
door
York,
to
which is where I'm from.
Wood Chipper Junction.
All the kids and adults are gone for the season. The group of teenage camp counselors throw a party on the last day of camp.
That always goes well.
And terror ensues. As the player of the game, you're going to get to play each of the 9 camp counselors at one point. And you'll be prompted to make decisions that change the direction of the story. So any character can die, or any character can be the story's hero. The goal is to ensure that your choices keep all 9 counselors alive till morning. So that's the same type of concept as Until Dawn. You had to have, the goal was everybody survives until dawn. And it lays out a story. And as you make choices, the options change. And honestly, sometimes the choices aren't the right ones, and sometimes the choices are. You'll get to know the characters a little bit and what they would actually do. So you're making the decision for the character, not for yourself. But yeah, like Richard mentioned, think of Choose Your Own Adventure. Your decisions might put them in danger.
Oh, yeah. And since you've gotten to know them, it can really mess with you if you make the wrong choice and kill them.
Or it might be really like you're trying to get them killed because you hate them so much.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you can actually decide who's worth living and who's worth dying.
The look in your eye when you said that, it chilled my blood.
So, like, do you ever yell at movies and you're like, don't go in there, or get up, you have to run? Well, you get to do that now. You get to make those decisions and actually play along with this movie and make it happen. It stars the facial recognition and voice of David Arquette.
Deputy Dewey.
He's the owner of the summer camp.
Or Sheriff Dewey.
Kyler Gizonad. Gizonad. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he plays Gideon on Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, hell yeah.
So he's in it. And Ariel
Okay.
Winter from Modern Family.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And a bunch of other young actors. And what's really interesting is there's a death rewind option. So you get a chance to retry your decisions.
Just like real life.
But the only way you can do it is if you play the game all the way through.
Oh, shit.
So you have to play it all the way through. And then if you want to play it again, you get the option to
so
do
that's
the
like
different choice.
That's like their version of New Game Plus.
Yeah.
You get to go through the narrative again, and you can
For those
try
that know
different
video
choices.
games.
You can see how things would have gone differently if you'd done something differently. That is, I mean, shit. I wish that was real life.
So The Quarry out June 10th. Check
That
it
is
out.
fantastic. Oh my God. I can't wait. I'm going to have to plan. I guess I'll just get a bunch of books for when my PlayStation is
No
in your
June
possession.
gloom for these recommendations.
Right. I just learned about a new phrase. So is that?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
We did it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we did it.
Whatever you decide to do in June, make sure you're listening to Terror in Tandem.
Yeah, seriously. If you check any of these out, hope you like them. But if you don't like them, we're probably going to cut this part.
Another thing to look forward to in June are more Terror in Tandem episodes.
Absolutely. Every Tuesday, dropping, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us again. This is really a lot of fun. We hope you like these monthly recommendations because
We don't care if you do, because we're going to keep doing them.
I mean, I care. I do care a little bit. But we are
I
going
think
to
we
keep
should cut
doing
all
them.
of this. I
We
think
are.
we should just end it.
Okay. Should we just keep going?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Shut up.
Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Sispanik. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're standing right behind you.